Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Mindy here. I hope you are all doing very well. Today I'm going to do a declutter video. I'm going to talk about fragrances that just didn't work out for me. All of these were blind buy fragrances, and so I bought them before I knew if they would work for me or not. I assumed based on the notes profile and the reviews that they would work, but these just didn't pan out for me. I do not love doing declutter videos. My very favorite to do is a This Not That epic fragrance battle. I love talking about fragrances I love. I love talking about fragrances that worked out for me, why I love them, why they're so fantastic. But on the flip side, I'm not so crazy talking about fragrances that I don't love. It's difficult for me because I know a lot of work and effort goes into building these perfumes. I know a lot of people like these, and so please don't take this personally. This is my own opinion. Honestly, what I hope from this is that it helps other people who are considering buying one of these perfumes understand maybe why someone else didn't like it. If you have similar tastes and preferences to me, maybe it will give you an idea if you would like these fragrances or not. And personally, I love the idea of doing these because I am making room for other perfumes to come into my collection. I want to have a collection full of fragrances that I adore, I love to wear, I want to reach for. And so without further ado, let's jump on in. The first perfume that I have here today is Between Us by One Direction. The reason I picked up this fragrance was because it was often compared to Flowerbomb. And I believe when I bought this, I bought it at a very low affordable price. I looked it up today and I'm not sure it's going for the same affordable price it once was. But this was a great option for me because I was curious if it might be a richer, heavier, longer lasting Flowerbomb alternative. This definitely shares some similarities to Flowerbomb for sure. When you look at the notes profile, this one also has freesia, jasmine, patchouli, and vanilla, much like Flowerbomb. Now this one goes in a little bit of a different direction. This one has nutmeg, so that gives it a little bit of spice, a little bit of depth, and this one also has amber in it. So that amber seems to give it a little bit of complexity, a little bit of warmth. But on the flip side, for me, I find myself craving what I did love in the original Flowerbomb. Given the description, given the added notes, I really thought I would adore this one. I thought I'd love it, and I do like it. But I do find it to be redundant in my collection. There's really no reason for me to have a bunch of Flowerbomb-like fragrances in my collection and trying to duplicate that. And I have others that I would prefer reaching for over this one. I do think for people that are craving a little bit more depth to Flowerbomb, this might be a good one to check out and see if you like it even better. Again, that is Between Us by One Direction. Next up is Armani C Les Parfums. And this is a fragrance that smells just like a glass of wine when I first spray it. It comes off very powerful. It has a luxurious, deep amber, balsamic, warm, opulent type scent profile. This is a little bit spicy, it's a little bit boozy. It kind of makes me think of an expensive liqueur, a deep, dark red bottle of wine. It has a very rich texture and feel to it. I've always found that this fragrance is kind of a bold step outside of my comfort zone, but it has a little bit of an addictive quality that has had me coming back for more. But the problem is I'm just not wearing it. I always envision this being a great fragrance for a date night out, a really romantic date, one where you want the person you're with to lean in and smell. And I do think it is a very pretty scent. But there are other fragrances that I prefer reaching for in those instances, and I find that I'm not picking this one up as much as I'd like to. Like all the others, I do think this is a nice smelling fragrance. It's just not really my style, and for that reason, I want to get it in the hands of somebody who will truly enjoy it. Again, that is Armani C Les Parfums. The next fragrance I have here is the one that I'm most on the fence with because I'm smelling it again and I do find it to be a gorgeous scent. C Les Parfums is one that I really debated as well, but this one I debated even more. This is Junoon Noir by Haramain. This is a fragrance that is said to be a dupe or very similar to Dama Bianca by the house of Xerjoff. which is a very heavily hyped, very popular fragrance. And when I looked at the reviews, about 57 people thought this smelled like Dama Bianca. A few people didn't, I think maybe 9 or so, but the fact that so many people said this reminds them of Dama Bianca, while I haven't smelled that one, I do have a sense that it probably is quite similar. The notes profile is really unusual here. This is powdery yet sweet. It has a little bit of an unusual twist. So thinking about the notes in here, there is kumquat, which I'm not overly familiar with that scent profile, but this is an unusual, it's very different, unique type scent. It also has lime, orris, violet, lily of the valley, jasmine, vanilla musk, sandalwood, and cedar. I've said before that when I smelled this one, I didn't really know what I was smelling. It's unique. It didn't smell like anything else that I've had in my collection before. And the scent profile is very difficult to describe here. I would love to smell this fragrance on others. I'm not crazy about how it sits on my skin. I've read some reviews on this one. I was super curious about what people were saying about this one, what they were thinking about this one, and one reviewer said something that totally hit home with me, and that was that it smelled like the Moroccan hair oil. I had to think about it for a little bit because that wasn't what I associated this fragrance with, but as I played around with it on my skin a little bit more, I definitely started to agree that this does have some qualities and some similarities to the Moroccan oil hair products. So for that reason, it had me go back to this one and reconsider if maybe I want to keep it. I do like the Moroccan oil hair products. I really think they smell great. And now that I'm thinking about this a little bit differently and in that way, I don't know. Maybe I'll hold on to it. This has happened before where I'll read a comment about a fragrance. I'm thinking to Baccarat Rouge 540 and the Extrait. I read a comment a long time ago that said that it smelled like Kool-Aid. I don't think it smells like Kool-Aid, but I do sort of think it smells like fruit punch. That fruity, that sweet, that really rich, dense fruit punch that we used to have as kids. It does remind me of that, and I always think about that when I spray Baccarat Rouge 540 or my Amber Oud Rouge. You know, those fragrances do make me think of fruit punch now. Not in a bad way, I still like it, and that's how I'm thinking about this one as well. I may reconsider decluttering this, so stay tuned. I'll let you guys know eventually what I decide to do. This is a gorgeous scent. It's one that I enjoy the scent profile of, and I might want to play with just a little bit more. Again, this one is Junoon Noir by Haramain. The next fragrance might come as a little bit of a surprise, but I did mention when I reviewed this fragrance that it wasn't really my style. That is Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper by the House of Kayali. Now, I find this one when you first smell it to have some intoxicating qualities to it. I get carried away every time Kayali releases a new fragrance. I like their Vanilla 28 so much that I feel like they will have other releases that I fall in love with, so I'm always a little bit anxious to blind buy their perfumes, and that's what I did with this one. When I first reviewed this one, I'll link that review down below, I did find it had some similarities with other fragrances I was familiar with. Delina Exclusif, Intense Cafe, Oud Bouquet, Instant Crush. Of course, it doesn't smell exactly like any of those, but certain scent qualities of this fragrance made me think of those. So if you're interested, you can go back and watch my review and how I compared it to those other fragrances. That being said, a lot of those really rich, dense, rose-heavy fragrances don't always work for me. I find this one to be a little heavy on the rose, a little heavy on the pink pepper, and I'm not as crazy with how the saffron is done in this fragrance as I've seen it done in others. So for that reason, this really isn't my style. It is not a bad perfume. I like the scent. I would probably really enjoy this on someone else. I think a lot of people really love this one, so I want to get it in the hands of somebody who will truly appreciate it, who will wear it, and who will enjoy it. Again, that is Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper by Kayali. The last one I have here is a recent blind buy of mine. I've spoken about it probably a couple weeks ago, and that is Fantasy Intense by Britney Spears. I played with it quite a bit at the time, and it did start to grow on me a little bit. It has a lot of that underlying DNA that you find from the Fantasy line, but I personally bought this fragrance because it had really high ratings, and the reviews were really quite stellar on this fragrance. As I'm playing with it right here, I'm getting a whiff of it, and now I'm questioning if I need to keep this one too. But I feel like it is a little bit too sweet for me. I feel like in a way that I'm outgrowing the fantasy fragrances, and I don't mean that in a condescending way at all. I just mean that I brought so many other fragrances into my collection that I really love, and I find this one to be really quite sweet for me. I'm not sure I like the fruitiness in this one. I've spoken about how there's pear, kiwi, and lychee in here. The kiwi seems a little bit too harsh to my nose, it's a little bit too sharp for me, and some of the other fruits don't blend the way I would like them to with the woodsy notes that are in here, and the sweetness from the white chocolate, the cupcake, just seems to be a little bit too dense for me. As it settles into the skin, I do find that I can tolerate it a little bit more, but I don't want to be tolerating my fragrances. I want to be loving them. I want to really enjoy them. And sadly, this one just didn't work out for me. I do think people who like super sweet, fruity fragrances should check this one out. It is a pretty fragrance, just not one I'm going to reach for. That is Fantasy Intense by Britney Spears. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I truly appreciate you. If you enjoyed this declutter video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I will say I have not released the other fragrances that I did in my prior declutter videos yet, and that is simply because I haven't carved out the time in my personal life. We like to go on the weekends. We're not really around a lot, and I really would like to sell those on Mercari. So stay tuned. If you are interested in any of the fragrances that I've spoke about decluttering in the past, send me a direct message and let me know, and I can coordinate something with you. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. I hope you have a lot to be grateful and thankful for. Until next time, I'll see you soon.